Hi. Right. Welcome. Chapter 1, A Search for Home. This book is for all the mothers that sacrificed their dreams and lives to take care of their children. It's for all of the children that had to experience divorce. Those children feel and know more than adults understand. And it's for all of the humans searching for a home. My first memory is standing at a window pane, supported by my little body's weight. I stare out the wall-sized window into the sun with child's eyes. Sun rays floating into the room illuminate the dust particles in the air. And with sunlight surrounding me, it's easy to notice that a dark shadow arises behind me. My bottle is forcefully lifted from my hands, and without understanding, I let go of the window pane to see what has made my bottle disappear. Barely standing unsupported, I am facing my father. His stern face is staring at me with anger, and with confusion, I reach for the bottle and cry. Mommy comes to the rescue. She appears next to the dark figure that is my father. He is angry at the fact my mother is allowing me to drink my bottle so close to dinner. Words are exchanged between them that are heated and scare me. I start to cry, not only for my bottle, but for the tension I sense between my parents. I was born into a toxic home. This was my first memory of many to come that will leave me in tears over the years because of my parents' relationship and choices. Many of my early memories include arguments and loud words said between my mom and him. Whether the topic was over a bottle before dinner, how long to stay at my grandparents', or how to discipline, there was always tension when he was around. We still loved him, even though we feared him. We wanted him to love us and to take care of us like our mom did. We wanted a healthy family. In one of the basement corners, there was a corner cabinet made of glass and wood. Shelves on the bottom and swinging glass doors on the top. The shelves behind the glass held wedding memories. The bouquet she walked down the aisle with, the flower girl's headband, and the lace ribbon flowing from the back. A crystal wedding ball that's a crystal wedding bell that sat on the shelves. The wedding bell no longer made noise, but it looked beautiful. Often, my sisters and I would open the cabinet and wear the headband. We would pretend to be princesses or even part of another wedding. In some instances, we would be wearing our mother's wedding dress. While putting an addition onto the house, rain leaked into the attic where her wedding dress had once been stored. The colored tissue paper bled onto the dress, staining the white fabric blue. The lace on the front area of the dress had become torn. With little regard for the failing marriage and knowing the dress was already ruined, we were granted permission to wear it during playtime. The oldest sister even pretended to marry a few of the boys in the neighborhood while wearing the headband and dress. I never knew how my father felt about his daughters wearing his bride's wedding dress around the neighborhood. I doubt if he even knew. While wearing the dress, we pretended to be getting married and to be happy. In the glass cabinet, there was a thick photo book filled with pictures of a beautiful bride with a smile that looked forced and even sad. Maybe it was because we knew where the future was going to take her that we thought the smile was forced. In one particular picture, she was standing in front of a stained glass window. Her hand is placed gracefully over her flower bouquet. With the way the sunbeams are flowing over her, it looks as though she could be crying. On the happiest day of her life, she seems so alone and doleful. It's a bittersweet picture. In pictures, our mother is next to this man she thought would protect her and take care of her. We saw a young woman looking forward to a future with hope, but the future would only bring pain. Even as children, all three daughters knew that the life our mom thought she would have was not reality. We knew that life with him wasn't the best it could be. Life was filled with tears, yelling, struggling, and pain. Together, we begged my mom to leave our father. We wanted her to know we supported her in a hard choice. A hard choice it would be because she had very little support from her parents. At church, we were taught that divorce was not acceptable. My father was a deacon. Everyone thought they knew who he was at home. They were wrong. A man of standing and influence at the church. We were told divorce was for sinners and that people had failed in their relationship. We were told our mother was wrong by others. We never stopped defending her decisions. The stigma of divorce did not matter to children. Our childhood innocence had not been tainted with the teachings of the church. It was tainted by the fear of our safety and not wanting to be near him. As a child, I feared and hated him. I was angry that he couldn't love me and take care of me the way I thought he should. I could not communicate what I needed from him. Even when we tried, our little voices were ignored or forgotten. Because we were small, I remember feeling insignificant and like I was a burden. I have memories of him spending time with us, but it never felt like it was because he loved us. It felt like we were prisoners on display. Humans make their decisions with what they believe is best, with the available information at the time. With the choices my mother made, she thought her choice would be enjoyable. Humans make wrong decisions all the time. This was a time when society shunned a woman for being divorced. There was a negative stigma associated with divorce and an expectation that no matter how unhappy you are, you stay together. My grandparents were not warm or good at communication. My mother's parents failed to teach her skills that are essential for being happy. My mother lived life as she thought others around her would want and expect. Being one of 4 children, my mother struggled to find her voice. She didn't find her voice as a child, therefore, she never learned who she was at her core as an adult. She would have to wait until her daughters were adults with families of their own. Then she would be able to fully find herself again. And early on in her marriage, my mom realized she was in a bad situation. By the time she was with child for a second time, her wedding ring had been removed. It was worn inconsistently in my memory, or not at all. Decisions were made and vows were taken. Both adults entered into the marriage willingly. Both people under 25 years old, with so much growth and life ahead, they decided to join their lives together. Learning how to be married to someone is a challenge when both people are going towards the same goal. Being in a marriage is impossible if both people have different goals for the future. People grow as they learn new information, and my mother learned about herself. The job as a mom became more important than being a wife. As it is impossible for me to have been at the wedding, many details that I remember are secondhand. Memories I have are from the viewpoint and lens of a child. I have been told and retold many stories. I know details of the past that I should not know as a daughter. Communication is how my mother guided us through the pain of experiencing our father. We constantly asked difficult questions. It was my father's actions in life that showed me who he really was. His actions were different than his words. As a child, this made life utterly complicated and confusing. Children can understand things in a way adults can often overlook. Feelings and emotions can be a crutch or a tool. My mother helped us understand and communicate our emotions and thoughts so we could work together to find a solution. Mom was always willing to listen. Over and over, he said he loved us. We heard the words over and over from people we felt betrayed by. I love you was expected in return. We knew we didn't feel what we were supposed to feel. We knew that we were missing something from our father. We were three little girls dealing with complicated emotions, and most adults did not notice our hesitations. Our little brains had difficult questions for difficult situations. Our mother did not ignore our questions or emotions. And our most difficult question for her was, why doesn't Daddy love us? Later in life, she tells me that this is the hardest question we asked her. And at first, she had no answer. She didn't want to lie to us or lead us to pain. How do you answer this question to three daughters under the age of 10? With love and wisdom, my mother answered our questions. She took her time and thought long and hard how to answer our question. Her answer could shape how we perceive love for the rest of our lives. A lot rests on this simple question asked from pained innocence. He loves you the way he knows how. One sentence of wisdom helped me let go of a lot of anger. She took our conversation seriously because she knew her daughters were listening and watching. Our father was unaware of how he was hurting us. Our father didn't know how to love us in the way we needed. There is a difference between anger and annoyance. There is a difference between discipline and abuse. There is a difference between teaching a lesson and being cruel. My father physically assaulted everyone in the family. My mother called the police often. Physical abuse is easy to see. Bruises and blood can show a wound. And as a child, during an argument between sisters, the most painful insult was, "You're acting like Dad." Before emotional abuse was a common term, it was a common occurrence. The tongue is the strongest muscle because it can build a human up or tear a human down. Our emotional health was at risk because of the environment my father created. Despite the efforts of our mom, children learn from their examples. As my sisters and I grew, Mom could see characteristics of our father that we were unconsciously taking on. We were angry and upset often. One of my father was enough. The world did not need three more. Depression was not a widely accepted or understood in the 1990s. With the help of therapy, my mother was diagnosed with depression. My mother carried the weight of the world on her shoulders, plus three little girls. When my mother began taking medication, my father called the doctor and told him to replace her medicine with placebos because she was fine. My father was not an emotional person. There were hugs, but there were no conversations about how we felt. There were no heart-to-heart moments where he understood we may fear him. My mother tried all she could to reach him, but therapy only goes so far when a person is unwilling to see the problem. My mother decided to leave, even though she was unsupported by her parents and church. Divorce was for sinners and people that had failed in their relationship, but it did not matter to us. We feared for our safety, and God wasn't protecting us. She wasn't a college graduate, but by the age of, or by, but a mother of three by the age of 25. After 13 years of a horrible marriage and hours spent at therapy, my mother was strong enough to take her children out of a bad situation. She knew we needed her to be strong and leave our father's influence. My sisters and I begged our mother to divorce our father, and even as children, we knew life would be better without him. I left my childhood home in the middle of the night so that my father couldn't try to stop us from leaving. Our neighbor was also our aunt, our father's sister, and oftentimes our aunt would watch us from her windows. My mother parked our minivan on the grass as close to the door as possible. We left at night hoping no eyes were watching from the windows. My sisters and I put our last of our belongings in the car and never wanted to return. I am a child of divorce. I remember being the overlooked child because of my father's religion and self-concern. I felt like my voice meant nothing because of my age, even though decisions being made directly influenced my life. The courts did not care that I feared him. The courts did not care that I came home sick and missed school because of emotional stress. The court did not care that I had painful stress rashes on both hands. The only person that consistently listened to me was my mom. She was our safety base. Our emotions were always valid and nurtured to the best of her ability. She did not laugh at us or yell. Mom communicated with us what was happening because we had questions. We were old enough to think of a question to ourselves. We were ready for the answers. We were treated like humans. In order to heal and move forward, she helped us understand what was happening and why. There is no one way to love. Everyone has a unique way to show their love and how much they love the people around them. It was obvious from my mother's actions that she loved us. When we were hungry, she fed us. When we were tired, she provided a safe place to sleep. When we were sad, she listened to why and held us while we cried. As a child, I could tell people my parents were divorced, and the common response was pity. And I never thought of divorce as a negative. Divorce was necessary because the children did not feel safe. Communications had failed multiple times, so divorce had become the last option. I would correct their assumption. I openly share my story because I want to help the kids who are suffering because of adult decisions. I want to help the parents connect with their kids over difficult subjects. Generations of children have grown up without learning emotional intelligence and communication. The lack of emotional intelligence has led to a mental health decline in society. Too many adults are unhappy and unable to help the struggling children. If the adults are barely trying to survive, the children are going to feel those results amplified. If the cycle of humans not knowing how to understand and communicate isn't broken, humanity suffers. If the adults aren't okay, the kids aren't okay. Every generation of human born is another chance to break the unhealthy habits that have infected our current society. It's up to the parents to guide their children to the best version they can be. Parenting does not come with directions. Every parent makes a million mistakes. If a parent feels alone, the child will feel alone, and no one thrives alone. I insisted I was never going to have children. I assumed my life would be the same as my mother's, the life of struggling and tears. I never wanted to create another human being to live life. I didn't enjoy life, so why would I subject another human to the same suffering? I didn't want I didn't want to watch another suffering along with me. It is because of love that humanity continues. It is because of love that we want our children to have a better life than their parents. Children are the future of humanity, but they have been overlooked for generations. By looking back on my existence, hindsight gives me comfort. Being able to look back on my life, I have learned many hard lessons on my own. My story can prevent pain for children and parents. My story can help elevate emotional intelligence and help people struggling with mental health. The earth is our only home. We are all humans with the same emotions searching for love and a home. The world is dark, but I want to be a bright light for those living in darkness. And I realize that I am a grain of sand on a crowded beach, but I want to be the sun's sunshine seen through the clouds. I feel like a rock trying to jump out of a river, but I will do my best to make a better tomorrow. My story might make the world a better place. Thank you. That was chapter 1, A Search for Home.